In this video, you'll learn how to use synth pads in a way that won't just fill out your sound, but will add a vital musical layer to your songs.
Like this. And welcome to the Hack Music Theory Show, where you are empowered with notation-free theory for making great music.
And by the way, the hacks that you're about to witness are at an intermediate level, so if you're a beginner, no problem, we got you covered. Just read our free book, 12 Music Theory Hacks, Learn Scales and Chords, which you can download at revolutionharmony.com.
Also, while you're there, be sure to check out our cutting-edge apprenticeship course.
Alright, let's get you oriented. So what you see on the screen right now is the synth pad melody from the verse of our upcoming single, Down With The Drama, which features the mighty Sarah Serene on vocals. And just a heads up, the highlighted bit at the top here, that's the actual synth pad melody. And then the notes at the bottom here, those are just the root notes of the chords in our progression, and they're just there for reference, they're not actually in the final pads.
We're in the key of F sharp minor, and the chords are F sharp minor, A major, E major, B minor, D major, and A major. And if you missed any videos on the other sections of this song, then check out the playlist in the description below. Alright, let's jump in.
Fast!
Synth pads are miracle workers for filling out your sound. However, as a result of their sonic superpowers, most producers totally undervalue their potential to contribute musically to their songs.
Yep.
This means that pads are all too often an afterthought, thrown in a section that isn't sounding full enough.
Yeah, and these afterthought pads are super boring, as they're usually just doubling the chords, or even worse, just playing the root note of each chord.
So, if you envision a section of your song being pad-friendly, then try write the pads before you write your lead melody. Because when pads are written into the core of a section, they can inspire great lead melodies to grow out of them, creating a magical, interwoven, and layered musical experience.
Yep, as you'll see in next week's video when we cover the lead melody for this section.
Hack 1. Counterpad.
Right, first things first, we need to establish the difference between sonic layers and musical layers, because far too many producers think that they're the same thing. So, you could have 1,000 synths in your digital audio workstation all playing the same melody at the same time, and that's going to be perceived by your listeners as one musical layer, which means it's going to sound really shallow. On the other hand, you could have a mere 2 synths playing 2 totally different melodies at the same time, and that's going to be perceived by your listeners as 2 musical layers, which means that actually has more musical depth than 1,000 synths playing the same melody. So, how do you use pads to add musical depth to your songs? Easy. You just start by not copying anything that's already in the section, and instead you write a brand new and independent melody for your pads. And the best way to write an independent melody is to simply counter the contour of something that's already in the section. So we decided to write our pad melody to counter the contour of the root notes in our chord progression. So you can see as our first chord F sharp minor moves up to A major, our pad melody moves down. And then you can see as our chord moves down to E major, our pad melody moves up. And then the chord moves up to B minor, and our pad melody moves down, and so on. And once again, remember, you can counter anything that's already in the section. So you could write a counterpoint pad melody to your bass line, or your guitar melody, or anything.
Also, if you want our best counterpoint hacks, check out our songwriting and producing PDF at revolutionharmony.com.
Alright, let's have a listen to how these 2 layers are totally countering each other, thereby creating true musical depth.
Hack 2. Trill your listeners. Melodies or chords played on synth pads are usually simple and move rather slowly, as pads have a rounder sound with less attack, perfect for those long notes. But when that's all they play, things can get pretty boring. So, how do you keep your pads simple and slow without them getting boring? Easy, you just choose musical decorations, as they add interest but don't interfere with your melodies or chords. And these little unexpected decorations will definitely thrill your listeners.
Yeah, so there's many different types of musical decorations you can use to embellish a simple melody like this, but one of our favorites, and the one we used over here, is what we call a slow motion trill. A trill, also known as a shake, is what you get when you ping pong super quick back and forth between the notes that you're on and the next note up in your scale. But while a normal trill would probably use 32nd notes at a tempo like this, we're using 8th notes, so we get that same decorative effect, but without the notes turning into a blur, because synth pads just can't handle 32nd notes. Speed is not one of their strong points. So have a listen to your melody, and wherever you feel it starts to get boring, stop on that note, cut it up, and turn it into a slow motion trill, because that surprisingly fast movement of 8th notes will totally invigorate your pads. Yeah, and that's exactly what we did to the C sharp over here, which was originally one note before we cut it up and trilled it out. And just for the final playthrough, if you want a more in-depth lesson on how to use Counterpoint, then we suggest our video, Hack Counterpoint and Write Unique Harmonies. So keep on watching, because that's going to pop up on your screen right after the playthrough.
And if you like our hacks, then please subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. Also, we love hearing from you, so come say hello in the comments below.
Thanks for joining the Hack Music Theory Revolution. We'll see you next week.